On the Erie County Board of Elections for March 13th, meeting to order. Start with roll call.
Mr. Copeland,
Here.
Mrs. Showerman. Here. Mr. Scatella,
Here.
Mr. Drexel.
Here. All right, next thing up, for hearing of the public, is there anyone who wishes to speak? Fred Atepco?
Yeah, I understand, I've talked to people that you're gonna have, or you're thinking about having both online and in-person coworker training. And I want to make sure that you continue to have in-person. I know there's a wide variety of the technological skill of the people who are coworkers and what kind of equipment people have access to in their homes. Plus the value of the interaction and the actual hands-on with machines that I just want to hope that you're going to continue to have in-person coworker training. And just if anybody out there is listening, I'm not sure why they would be, but if they are, to remind you, you have to register. If you want to vote in the primary, you have to register for a political party by May 5th.
Anyone else from the public? Is there anyone else from the public that would like to speak? Is there anyone else from the public that would like to speak?
Okay, and I do support the idea of postage paid.
Thank you. All right, so the next thing up is I need a motion for approval of the minutes of previous meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Call the question.
Mrs. Showerman. Yes. Mr. Scatella.
Yes.
Mr. Copeland,
Yes.
Chairman Drexel.
Yes. All right, now to the election report, item A, do you want to speak to this, or does it really matter? All right, change of polling location, it's the official relocation of Erie Ward 4, District 6, and Erie Ward 4, District 7 from St. Andrews Parish Chapel Building. And we're moving that to Strong Vincent Middle School. Where that is in relation, that's relatively close. Item B, possible authorization of county funds to pay for postage on mail-in and absentee ballots.
So we
Mr.
go
Chair. Are you looking for a motion to approve the polling place change for item A?
Yeah, I am, sorry.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Chair, discussion?
You have the floor.
Karen, can you just give some of the background as to the reasoning for the polling place change?
Sure, it was at St. Andrews Parish and they, the Catholic diocese has closed some of their buildings and they're looking to lease out this building, so it's not going to be available for a polling location.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Are we following the question for that?
Mr. Scatella,
Yes.
Mr. Copeland,
Yes.
Mrs. Showerman. Yes. Chairman Drexel.
Yes. Item B, possible authorization of county funds to pay for postage on mail-in and absentee ballots. Open that for discussion.
Mr. Chair. I could, I was really glad that we took up that mantle last year. I still contend that, any costs that a voter would incur in order to exercise their right to vote is akin to a poll tax, whether it's 60 cents for a stamp or whatever fee. I think this is a really good thing to continue to enable people to exercise the right to vote, regardless of whether they had a stamp in their household or not. And so I very much support this. As I understand, the election integrity grant pays for the outgoing postage. and then we're just responsible for the return postage. And I think that that's, I think it's the right thing to do. I was really glad that we did that in the last election.
Karen, what did this come to in the last election? What did it cost?
I'm thinking it was I could go check, but I'm thinking it was, I don't wanna say, I should probably go double check.
How many did we have returned?
Oh, we had how many,
Yeah, I don't know.
It's 84 cents a piece though.
I know,
and there were about 40,000,
Or-
right? On my side.
In the presidential candidate race, it was only like 32,000, 33,000, somewhere around there.
That sounds about right.
just think it costs people more than that for gas if they go to a poll and vote.
I'm thinking with the last municipal election, I don't know if we had anticipated maybe 20,000 and we had 15,000 return or 20, we're expecting 25,000, but only 20 applied and 15,000 return or something like that. So the breakdown is a lot lower of what we get returned. And what we're paying for is people who don't put their own stamp on it, we're paying for that postage to come back. People can put a stamp on it and that would save the county that money for their item. And also it's only for the ones that are being returned. So if we're printing 25,000, we're not paying the postage on 25,000. We're paying the postage on the numbers where people are using the postal service and electing to not put their own stamp on it.
Right, I understand that.
Karen, I mean, we do have money budgeted to be able to pay for this, right? We have line items that can accommodate this.
Yes, just what we have done in the past, so that would be in the budget. We could allocate it for that purpose. I mean, with the budget, there's choices, so that's an option that we have.
And just for reference, from the presidential race, there was roughly 36,000 total mail-in ballots. Or at least in the presidential in votes cast, looking at the results now.
I guess I just feel that it's only one stamp, and when people go to vote, we don't give them money for gas. And, one stamp shouldn't be a huge burden on anyone. That's just my opinion.
They're good. Karen, is there a,
When we first started with the mail-in ballots, we did not do postage. And we still got back a huge percentage of what we sent out. It never was a hindrance in getting them back.
The playground?
Karen, is there a discount? So that we could pay for without stamps, just a stamp. on
Right,
it.
and that's what we need to decide tonight, because our envelopes are being printed tonight. And we need to know, is it going to use our business reply mail on that for return mail, or are we not going to have that on the envelope? So, it looks like we spent $22,185 for the outgoing for the presidential election and $15,900 for the return. That's what,
That was for the general,
yes.
so it's gonna be less. All right.
Well, thank you for getting that information. And thank you, Megan.
That's what we said.
Anything else? Anyone? Usually.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
I would like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
Call for the question?
Mr. Copeland,
Yes.
Ms. Showerman,
No,
Mr. Scatella,
Yes.
Chairman Drexel,
Yes.
that passes with a vote of 3-1.
Right, item C, discussion of learning management solutions for online poll worker training. This is what you had mentioned when you had made your comments, earlier. The intention wasn't to replace it with only an online version, is my understanding. It, you know, sometimes people, busy schedules, can't always get in, you know, during regular business hours during the day to be able to handle that, so this gives them an option to be able to do the online version and they still have the in-person version. So, I mean, I think we're giving more access to be able to get it done and get it done quicker, because I think a lot of times, like, I don't know, it seemed like last year, it felt like you got close to the end, you're like, we still have some stragglers, we're trying to get through this program and get them up and running, so this might help alleviate some of that. Anyone else have thoughts? Or-
You're not paying for the online.
No.
training, Correct.
So we really fully expect everyone to participate in the in-person training. And that's the best way to do this. Everybody needs to go to that, especially the first time going through training. It's a great training. It's hands-on. You're working right with the machines, you're working with the poll pads, and there's a lot of interaction, questions and answers. So that's the best case scenario, and I fully expect that everyone, especially new people, go to that training. The purpose in this would be for more recurrence or refresher. It looks like the company that presented to us has metrics and can generate reports on other counties that have used their programs. And you can see that the night before the election, people might not feel confident about one section or another. They want that refresher, so they can go on at home and check out one of those sections. You know, like last year we had some questions about there could be more provisional ballots. So let's go to that part of the module and take a refreshing course. So really, people need to attend in person, but this could be supplementary. It could be for student poll workers. And, you know, anyone who wants to, there could be updates, you know, sometimes the whole training could be basically the same as the one you just went to, and you're really busy and maybe you're not able to make it. Maybe you can just do the update because one thing has changed or another.
I think it's great to have both options, but I would still anticipate that they should come. And as long as you're not paying them for doing the online.
Right,
options.
no, I see that as strictly a supplemental training option and best suited for recurrent training when somebody's not available. We do have a nice variety in our schedule for the worker training, so we really hope that people can accommodate that schedule somehow.
Do you happen to know if the online is interactive?
There's quizzes, polls, there's videos that we can
Like
show.
click on this and you'll see what happens, or to click the machine?
Right, we can supply videos, we can create our own videos and upload those. They already have worked with other counties where they've taken their training materials and converted that to online content. So I think they have a general understanding of what's needed and how people have interacted with those, where people have missed questions or maybe misunderstood some of the content. So they have a history of working with people based on election material.
After being judge for 20 years, I've been to many of the classes where it's explained extremely well. And then when it comes to the hands-on training, people stand there and they don't have a clue what to do when they're new. So
Mhm.
I'm very happy that you're keeping. And I only have one, I have one other question. Think about it. Let's go on.
There's no substitutes for the in-person training, that's for sure. You got the three-dimensional
Oh.
machines right there, and you want to have that
I
experience.
know what it is. What is the cost of this? Are we being charged to be?
We have one proposal from a company, and I think it's a little over 30,000. It would be for an unlimited number of users. We've already created some specs and prepared an RFP if the board is interested in this, so that we can get quotes from a couple of other companies as well. We know of 3 that's do this specifically for elections, and then there are some other learning management companies out there that have other solutions.
And is that for the rights to it or is that for only the election?
That's for building the training system. And then we would have the software that could generate the reports and,
You'd have the rights to that
yes,
for.
yes, it would be ours. That's built into the RFP that we would maintain all of that. It's all of our information. It's not owned by anybody else.
Mr. Chair.
Yes,
Um,
Mr. Cook?
So as I understand it, this would be eligible for election integrity funds. Is that correct?
Yes,
And then you're really seeking approval to put out to RFP, not necessarily an approval for a contract.
correct.
Is that-
I mean, we had a great presentation from one company, but because of the value involved being over 25,000, and we're looking, there are other companies. This is not a sole vendor situation. So we've spec'd it according to what we need and what our expectations are. So this would be today looking for approval to go ahead and put the RFP out there. And then we can come back and review those responses, those proposals.
Well, and if I'm not mistaken, I mean, you're mostly looking for straw poll vote, right? You don't need a formal motion to proceed with that, right? You would only need approval of the contract.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, putting it out for RFP, and coming back with the, winning bidder does not commit us to proceeding necessarily, so I would suggest that that would be okay. Yeah, I don't take any issue with it going out for RFP.
No, nothing
When-
I have. Mr.
When it,
Sutton?
I have no issue with it.
when are you targeting implementation? Are you trying to get that for this primary? Or would
No.
that be coming in the coming general in the
we're-
26?
We're looking to do this for the fall election, have it ready for the fall election, so we would be building content probably in the summertime, and then while we're doing poll worker training for this election, we're going to take note of those areas where we need to do a little extra support and focus on priority training and developing those modules first.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be ready for the primary election, but it's something that, you know, if we're considering it now, it is a process. And by the time that we get a company on board, it can take a couple of months to build something, and we'd like to have it ready for the fall.
Mr. Chair, although it's not presented as a resolution, in order to get this out of the way, why doesn't a member move for the authorization to push a mail-in online poll worker training to an RFP?
Anyone?
I can make that motion.
What was that, Rock?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Okay.
That's 2 of us. I don't
Okay.
care if it's first or second.
Yeah.
Okay. Mrs. Showerman? Take
Yes.
your vote now, okay? Mr. Scatella,
Yes,
Mr. Copeland,
Yes.
Chairman Drexel,
Yes. All right, number 6, item 6, questions or comments from the board? Does anybody have anything else?
I have a comment. Last night, direct this to you, about 9:30, I did get a phone call about the election. Given the election office kudos, the gentleman was in here yesterday, I believe, asking information about petitions and signatures and all that. And I think Sue was one of them. And there was 2 other ones, I believe. Helping the gentleman out. Was it you? And he gave you nothing but the staff. He thought it was fantastic, mannerly, knew what they were talking about, helped them out. And I thanked him for that, and I said, we have a meeting tomorrow, and I said, I'll pass that on. And I know there's some people in this courthouse that doesn't believe that we're as good as we think you are. You are. And if they continue to believe that, maybe they should step down from their job.
I would just like to say that we have all new staff in the office pretty much, except for Sue. She's been here, so this is everyone's first time with the petition filing period. They did a really good job. They're very thorough, and they gave everyone individual attention to make sure that their I's were dotted and their T's were crossed. So they did a good job.
After his little school, he knew more than I did on the phone.
Anyone else?
Mr. Chair, I have something that just came in the last half hour, 45 minutes, and it sort of dovetails off of what Terry just said. We just got a decision from Judge Ridge in the matter of Michelle Previn. She sought to hold the board in contempt for some right to know requests for videotape footage. She then tried to bootstrap it with her case, bad faith on the part of the board in trying to find and preserve the video footage that she wanted. Like I said, I just got this a half hour ago, the decision just came in. No finding of contempt and no finding of bad faith on the board's part, but reviewing the judge's opinion here, there's two sections I'd like to read into the record because it does reflect on Ms. Chilcott, if I may.
Absolutely.
The board believes, pardon me, the court believes that it's fair to summarize all the testimony, exhibits, and pleadings as leading to this conclusion that after this court issued its order concerning the custody, control, and preservation of the video surveillance camera recordings, and that the board did not act in willful and intentional defiance of the court order. Further, both Julie Slomsky, who previously served as county council's clerk and therefore had the responsibility to attempt to obtain and preserve the recordings, and Karen Chilcott, her successor, did everything they could have reasonably done to obtain all of the surveillance recordings and provide them to Ms. Previn. In regard to the bad faith claim, the court said it notes that it would find, if necessary, that Ms. Previn failed to present evidence of bad faith to support her claim, and that the board conducted a good faith search with the appropriate representatives of the board, Ms. Slomsky and Ms. Chilcott, being diligent in their attempts to have other agencies, businesses, and representatives from county government obtain and observe the footage that Ms. Previn requested. Court also went on to mention Ms. Penzie and Ms. Moore and Ms. Chilcott in another section of its opinion to find that there just wasn't enough here for bad faith or contempt. So I just wanted to bring that to the board's attention.
No, that's fantastic. Well, it's good to be on the right side of all of this. Well, yeah, that's great. Did you have something you wanted to talk about with boxes?
We can get more information on that and bring that to another meeting.
Okay, I think that sounds like a good idea.
Mr. Chair, I have about 5 different lawsuits to update.